Hi, amazing parents and guardians. Welcome to this class, this free class, practically setting and achieving communication mastery for your kids in 2026. Tonight, you will be learning all these things and also getting some things as well. First of all, why communication mastery? Why is communication that important? We're talking about kids. Why aren't we talking about academics, for example? Why aren't we talking about making money? Why aren't we talking about mathematics or science or being a doctor or an engineer or those professions we see as the apex? Why? That will be the full focus of the class. Secondly, we'll also be talking about the simple formula. There is one formula. Once you're able to master it, that formula will help you solve a lot of problems and achieve many goals, even aside communication mastery goals for your kids. The formula will help you in business. The formula will help you in marriages and relationships. The formula will help you in your career. The formula will help you in your education. So as a parent, aside from coming to this class to help improve the lives of your children, this class will also help you improve on your own as a person. Third, I have bonuses for you, AWOOF bonuses for you tonight. So if you stay till the end, you get my bonuses. Thanks for joining. But before we get started, who is your lecturer? My name is Abdul Baki Hassan, the lead tutor at Flying Colors Communications Academy, where we help children and adults improve their communication skills, enhance their communicative competence, and increase their English proficiency levels. Those are the four focus of the things that we do at Flying Colors Academy, and I am the lead tutor. I am experienced regarding child education, linguistics, effective communication skills, presentation delivery. I am an award-winning editor and business owner. I won the Consistency Award by DSI in 2023. This class isn't about me. Yes, I have 10 years of experience teaching and doing this, and I have a school that already enrolled hundreds of children from different parts of the world. But this class isn't about me, it is about you. So I do not want to keep talking about myself. This is just an introduction to help you familiarize yourself with the teacher for today. So let's get started. Why communication mastery? Why are we talking communication? Why aren't we talking about money? It's a new year. We should be talking about making money, about academics, about career, about doing this, about doing that. We're talking about communication because everything now boils down to communication. Achieving anything, communication is like the foundation. Let me tell you the story of how we started Flying Colors Online Kiddie School, for example. The parents came to me and told, oh, in that family, it's usually homeschooling for the kids right from the primary level. So when they get to the secondary level, they are taken to conventional schools. So for nursery and primary in that family, homeschooling, secondary and above, conventional schooling. So they noticed that for all the kids now in secondary school, the kids had foundational issues in communication skills. They were asking, what do we do? So the dad went to the masjid one day and he was discussing with friends, do you have teachers who can help me groom them? So one of my friends was there. Abdubaki, there is one Abdubaki, teacher Abdubaki. Go for a contact teacher Abdubaki and you get results. So he contacted me and we started to communicate about the classes. Oh, what should we do? How do we go about it? And the kids started with me, three of them, Zainab, Abdurrahman, and Abdullah. They started with me. And after a few months, the dad sent me a message and told me, Teacher Abdubaki, those kids from position 25th, they were coming to 5th position. The one that was in the position 20th, number 20 in class is now number 3. The one that, I mean, aside what did we teach them? Only English, how to communicate. So how did they come from 25th? How did the knowledge of being able to speak well, being able to write correctly, now influence them to the extent that the whole of the academic life is transformed? The answer is simple. Examination. People examine us. Our lecturers, our teachers, they are examiners. They examine us based on how well we can communicate. Have you once thought about this? During exams, the teachers do not ask us to come and then they get our heads into two and start to see, did you read? Do you know this? No, they ask us. And when they ask us, what do they need us to do? To write the answers, communication. To speak the answers, communication. You want to employ someone at a place of work. What do they do? Interviews, auditions. During interviews, what happens? They ask to communicate what they know. How well you communicate now determines if you get the job or not your years of experience, not your certifications. So all this tells you that communication is quite primary. Once you're able to master how to communicate well, other things just fall in place. You're a business owner, for example, you can communicate, marketing becomes easy. You're a business owner, for example, you can speak so well, you know how well to welcome people, to explain things to people. Your customer service becomes better. You're a business owner, you have members of staff. They aren't just going to come to your organization and know the exact things to do. But when they come in, you already know how to communicate with them, how to tell them what to do, what not to do, your culture, your vision, your mission. What happens? Automatically, things fall in place. You're a medical doctor. You need effective communication skills. You do not just tell your client anything anyhow. There is a way you manage the information. There is a way you control the narrative. Communication, information management, everything is still under communication. So there is nothing you want to do in this world. Everything still goes back to being able to communicate your ideas so well. And that is why we are here tonight to discuss how to master that communication so we can apply it in every aspect, especially in the lives of our children. This 2026, we do not want to miss out on that. Now, let's go. I already introduced myself. I want you to leave the world of wishing. Some parents would say from 2021, 2020, I want my kids to be able to speak well. I want my kids to be an amazing public speaker. I want my kids to deliver powerful presentations. They keep wishing, but no changes, year in, year out. So tonight, I want you to leave the world of wishes. I want you to leave the world of thinking. I want to draw you away from that world of imagination and take you into reality. How exactly do you achieve those things you've been nursing in your minds? Oh, my kids, when we go out, it's not sharp. These kids that I'm watching on Instagram, when will my kids become like them? I do not want you to do that anymore. I want to give you the actual blueprint towards achieving those goals that you want for your kids. And I told you right from the beginning that there is one simple formula. Once you apply that formula, everything falls in place regarding your goals, regarding your kids' goals, regarding your plans in this world, regarding your plans in heaven. You want to enter Jannah, you want to enter paradise. There is a formula that helps you achieve everything, that helps you solve all your problems. And we are going to be revealing the formula very soon. More people already joined us. Please tell me where you're joining us from in the comment section at Madam Adijat, Madam Hafusat, Madam Aliyu, Madam Amina. Thanks for joining. Tell me where you're joining from. Before I reveal the formula, you need to tell me where you're joining me from. Before I give you the formula, the formula. Who wants the formula to success? The formula that helps you to solve your problems. The formula that is practical. The formula that is not motivational, swana. It is not motivational. It is simple, clear, and practical. Madam Adijat is joining us from Alagbado. Madam Ali joining us all the way from Abeokuta. Madam Amina from Ketu. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Let me now review the formula. The formula is SMART. Please type SMART in the chat box. SMART. S-M-A-R-T. Yes, to be sharp, to take action. What does each stand for? S in SMART stands for specific. The S in SMART stands for specific. The goal you want to achieve, you need to be specific regarding it. You need to be able to pinpoint it exactly. It should not be vague. A lot of things should not qualify to enter. It should be so direct, so specific. Secondly, measurable. We must be able to measure it. We must be able to count it. We must be able to know if it's achieved or not. Third, achievable. Some people have goals that are not achievable, and we'll delve into that as we enter the topic. Your goals, you need to tell yourself the truth. The goals that you have for your kids, in order to make them communication masters, must be achievable, realistic. Can it happen within that time frame? Are you being serious? Are you being realistic? Are you being factual? Are you facing reality? That's being realistic. And last, we have time bound. Time bound. It needs to be tied by time, because if you do not give it time, you just forget. If you do not give it time, you feel you have all the time. When we start January, for example, we started January 2025 and we felt, oh, it's a new year. Today is already December 27th. That's what time is like. If you do not control it, it will control you. So your goals need to be time bound. You need to tie down your goals with time. I want to achieve this within this time frame. Before this January, February, it needs to be quite specific regarding time. Now, let's delve into each and then discuss how it applies to how you as parents can help your kids become masters of communication. First of all, specific. Your goals for your kids, the communication mastery goals, must be quite specific. It must not, I want my kids to improve his communication skills. What is that? Communication skills are a lot. Reading, active listening, creative writing. In fact, writing itself has many branches. Writing, error-free writing, handwriting, creative writing, critical writing, technical writing, essay writing, composition writing. You need to ask yourself and be very specific regarding what you want your kids to achieve. If you do not understand what you need, you may be seeking the wrong solutions without knowing. For example, if you go to Google and tell Google, I want my kids to improve his communication skills, you aren't going to get the right answers. Why? Because it's vague. A lot of things qualify to enter what you're trying to get solutions for. A lot of things that you do not even want. So your goals need to be quite specific. Oh, my kids do not write correct sentences. When they write, punctuation left, comma right, paragraphing, middle. They do not know what to do exactly. For example, a parent came to us in 2023. Yes, Madam Aliyah. She came to us in 2023 and she was almost crying. Why? Because the school that she placed her kid in, her daughter Aliyah in, that school cheated her. In what way? For the results, when it's time for them to do, they get the report sheet after the end of the term. And in the girl's report sheet, she had a 80%, 90%, all the results, amazing, fantastic. But when it was time for the kid, the daughter, to start taking her exams, the external exams like common entrance, when she got to primary 6, she started to get 20%, 25%, 30%. And the mom was alarmed. What happened? What went wrong? She decided to probe to see what's happening. Then she told her daughter, my daughter, write a composition for me, let me see. And she was surprised by the poor quality of her daughter's writing. And she started to seek solution. So when she got to the school where her daughter, she was discussing that with one of the teachers in the daughter's school, one of the previous teachers. I don't like what they did to me in this school. See my daughter's performance. See what they were telling me in the results. And she told her, there is this flying colors online. Try to go to them. They can help you solve the problem. So she called me, explained all the problems to me. And I thought, okay, let's get started. We devised the curriculum and we got the problem solved. Why? Because when the mom came, she was very, very specific. Oh, common punctuation marks. I want you to help my kids. Punctuation marks when it comes to writing, paragraphing, all those things that they ask during common entrance, the idioms, how to answer comprehension passage. We got everything done. That she called me later and told me, oh my gosh, the next school her daughter went to for the common entrance exam, this not the common admission exam. Many schools, before they admit your kids to join them for JSS1, they ensure that they're tested to make sure that they're qualified before they join them. Amazing results, great results, and she got the admission started with them. So that is a prime example of a parent who knows what they want exactly. You need to understand what you want in order to be able to communicate that want to another person, in order to be able to solve that problem itself. It should be exact. The goal should be exact. You should know that goal itself. What is this goal that I want to hit? It should not be vague. It should be clear. I want my kids to write correct sentences. For a sentence to be correct, it's now easy for me to solve that problem, because for a sentence to be correct, it has to mark certain things. The sentence needs to start with the capital letter. The sentence needs to end with the punctuation mark. There should be no mismatch of letters, no small letter, big letter. The letters, there are rules regarding cases of letters. So all these things need to be clear. Now let's take examples. If you say, I want my kids to improve his communication skills, that is generic. It's too general. But if you say, I want my kids to deliver impressive presentations, specific. Oh, I want my kids to improve his writing, too general. But in order to help that kid solve the problems, I want my kids to have a legible handwriting. If that's your goal, for example, I want my kids to write legibly. That is specific. Can anyone give me more examples of being specific, or tell me the specific problems, the specific communication problem your kids are battling with? So I tell you if you're communicating it well or saying it the general way. Give me examples in the chat box. Due to the size of the class, one example is enough. Okay, smart, yeah, thank you, Madam Afusat and Madam Aliyu. Give me one example. I can also devise solutions for you in this class as well. If you give me the right specific problem, so that in 2026, you help your kids box it out. Use the chat box, Faraj, Afusat, Amina, Mariam, Madam Afusat, Madam Faraj, not knowing the right places to use. Oh my God, thank you very much, Madam Hafusat Suleiman. Not knowing when to use the right letter. My child does not know when to use the capital or small letter. This is very, very simple to solve for me, because you're not saying, oh, my kids does not, my kids, when it comes to writing, that's too vague. It's not hitting the problem. Now, with what you've mentioned, for example, I have something very simple for you to get your child to battle that problem. Your child doesn't even need to wait till 2026. This same month, this night, your child can box the problem. How? In English, there are certain words that should start with the capital letter. There are certain words that should have the small letters throughout. So one of the problems you want to solve for your kid, for example, is see the kids writing. I do not have access and it's not a personalized session, so but let me give you an example. Some kids, I want you all to chat in the box to help me note if you can relate with this. Some kids write this way. If they want to say, I go to school every day. Some kids write like this. Can you relate? Let me know in the chat box. Teachers, parents, they just use the letters the way they want. No, they just use it the way they want. Can you relate? Yes. Good. You now tell yourself, how do I teach this kid how to write well? First of all, you give them the instruction that there is no mismatch of letters when you have words. There is nothing like this. You can dedicate a day to just telling them that there is nothing like this in English. Once you start, the second letter predicts what all the other letters should have. Maybe lowercase or uppercase. If the second letter is lowercase, every other thing should be lowercase. If the second letter is uppercase, every other thing should be uppercase. You can dedicate a day towards helping them learn only this rule. Another day, you teach them, when do we use capital letters in English? For example, the beginning letter of every sentence. Your sentence is not correct if the first letter isn't in the capital form. I went to school every day. That I, capital letter. Olu beat the boy yesterday. That O, capital letter. He knocked the door twice. That H in he, capital letter, because it's the first letter of the sentence. Third, when you have the first person personal pronoun, the boy and I went to the farm yesterday. That I, no matter where it occurs in the sentence, no matter where am I, the end, the beginning, the middle, it must always be in the capital form. So the spaces where you have your capital letters are usually restricted. Now the formula is they only need to minus. Once you know when you should have your capital letters and your capital letter, those spaces do not meet that condition that your kid is writing about, they just put the small letter. Very simple. Let's say, for example, you need to use your capital letters in 10 different places. The only thing your kids need to do is they master when to use the capital letters. And okay, it's not the name of a person. It's not a proper noun. It's a common noun, small letter. They only need to do the minus. That's it. Madam Hafsat Suleiman, can you see that this same year, you do not need to wait till 2026 to get your kids' issue solved? Can you see the logic? Just as simple as A, B, C. Very simple. Good. That is it. All right. So we'll take the other issues that you're typing in the chat box as we progress, because I do not want this to exceed 1 hour. So let me tell you the story of one of our kids at Flying Colors Online Kiddie School. Chinewerim, he is an Igbo based in the UK. and his mom registered him at Flying Colors Online Kiddie School, majorly to hone his writing skills. 3 months later, Chinemerem won 2 certificate awards from One Piece of Writing in his school in the UK, United Kingdom. So the mom sent me a testimonial, a review. Oh, Tito Abdul-Baki, thank you very, very much for what you're doing in the lives of these children. After my kid joined your school, Flying Colors Online Kiddie School, a lot of things changed, and this is one of those things that he brought home. 2 certificate awards from One Piece of Writing. Because when they write at Flying Colors, we give them feedback from A to Z. These are the specific problems you need to solve. Go solve them right away. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Secondly, remember we have a formula. What is that formula? Please type the formula in the chat box for me. That formula of success, the formula that we want to use to solve our problems in 2026. And I already told you, if you master the formula so well, you may not need to wait till 2026. What is that formula? For example, we just had an example. My kids cannot use the small and capital letters correctly, and we solved it. If you focus on something in the 20th of December, 29th, 30th, one topic regarding that problem, your kid is going to smash the problem. Okay, but we're using that formula to get what to do. We're not being vague. First of all, is specific. The second is what? What's that from? Smart. So the second is M, which is measurable. 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 Please type measurable. Let me get my charger. So measurable is from what, we have this deduction in language. Suffix, prefix, stem. Tell me, measurable is from, where do we get measurable? What word can you derive from measurable? The verb. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, measurable. There is a verb. Measurable. There is that verb. Have you all forgotten? To measure. Thank you, Madam Amina. To measure. Measurable. Measure. To measure means to weigh, to know the length or the breadth, or no matter what you want, you're measuring. Oh, you have to measure me in order to know my size. That's the same way you need to measure what you want exactly. And how do you measure the results? What is the yardstick for the measurement? You need to ask yourself, what's my child's level? For some kids, the way you solve the problems of the kids in the primary level, quite different from the way you're solving the one in the SSS level. For example, how do I know that I'm getting results? How do I measure things? How do I measure improvement? How do I measure the growth? What do I put in place in order to ensure the growth? That's the second point, measurable. How will I know that I'm already getting results? So, for example, your goal may be, oh, I want to ensure my kid voice is not monotonous. That's when people say, welcome to class today. Today, I want to talk about that's being monotonous. The same tone, not going up like tilts are not coming down. Your context should determine how you speak. So you see some people, it's just too monotonous. It's the same tone throughout. They need to change it. You need to come up, go down. You need to mimic another person. You need to dramatize. You need to fall into characters of the people you're talking about during your public speaking. So if you have a child, for example, whose voicing is always, hello, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. Today, I want to talk about, that's being monotonous. It has to be, hi, good morning, dear sirs and mas. You're welcome. That's been great, being versed, being impressive, being fluent, being eloquent. I will know. You now ask yourself, okay, this is my child's problem. How do you want to measure the result when you start getting the result? Because some people, they're already solving their problems. The problems are, but because they aren't seeing something so obvious, that makes them think, oh, they've not achieved anything. And they either stop or switch to another thing. When that other thing is about to work, they say, oh, let me try this again. Let me try this again. So you need to have a system in place in order for you not to keep rigmaroling, not to keep going back to the same problem when you're about to solve that problem. Okay, so let's have more examples regarding this. Oh, I want my kids to be able to spell words correctly. Let's say there's some kids, for example, if they want to spell the word going and going home, for example, they say Goin without the G. So you ask yourself, what are the varied patterns at the end of words that make it, so for some kids, if you ask them to spell happily, they spell Happili instead of Ly. So you already know that for a kid not to be able to spell this, going, if the kid spells going as going, it means automatically that the kid is going to have issues with spelling words like lying, coming, loving, liking. This is what you get for other words. You now trace the patterns. How do I ensure my kids master spellings? But you're not starting from phonics level 1. You're not saying what is, you're not starting from the foundation. The problem is already obvious. So you attack that problem and then you measure your result. If my child is able to identify the varied patterns at the end of words, the suffixes ing, ly, ies for plural markers, I know I already achieved my aims. Do I have the, okay, let's take an example from, before we move to the next, that's measurable. Let's check the chat box for a problem that we need to solve using the measurable yardstick in our SMART formula. I want my son to be able to write good composition. He makes a lot of mistakes when constructing sentences. Okay. For a sentence to be correct, what are the 3 pillars? First of all, that sentence should start with a capital letter. Second of all, the sentence should end with the punctuation mark. Third, there should be no mismatch of letters. So we already talked about mismatching letters, small letters and capital letters the other time. You now need to ask yourself, is my child following those rules? Starting, capital letter, ending, punctuation mark. The punctuation mark can be a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark, depending on the context of the sentence. So you're now measuring, oh, okay, 5 sentences, let me check. Beginning, capital letter, end, no punctuation. Why? The child corrects himself. Then 5 days later, Madam, who asked that question, who shared that issue, Madam Faraj Ayola. 5 days later, your child can already write all the sentences correctly by starting with the capital letter and ending with the desired punctuation mark. Have you solved that problem or not? You've solved the problem because you're measuring. You're not still thinking here. So if there are other issues, you know, okay, now let's add this as another project. Let's do this. How do we go about? You can even have it in form of games. And by games, they do not need to go digital. It's not compulsory that they buy a big toy. They're just formal games. Now write 10 sentences, let's play the game. The beginning, you can make it into a song to make it attractive to the kids. Beginning of sentence, capital letter, ending of sentence, punctuation mark can be full stop. Before you know it, the child already masters what you want them to master. Nothing deep. Okay, Madam Faraj, you're not typing in the chat box. Okay, let's move to the next. Remember, we're doing SMART. S-M-A-R-T. We already talked about the S, specific. The second, measurable. The third, achievable. Can I achieve the goal? Do I have the resources and capability to achieve this? Is the environment supporting me? For some kids, for example, they cannot pronounce words well. They do not have the right diction because the environment is in variance with what they're learning, even if they have diction instructors in school. When the instructors tell them, oh, this is how you pronounce it correctly. You do not say capable, you say capable. You did not say go, you say go. They've already learned all those things, but immediately, oh, the TH is mathematics, not mathematics. Immediately after the diction instructor leaves the class, another teacher, maybe the mathematics teacher enters and says, what are you having today? Math. I said, which one is mathematics? Mathematics in German, mathematics in German. So today we are going to talk about, so we learned that we need to apply poise and composure when we're shut up, Jam. Which one am I? Do I look like your diction, Guinea? When we were in school, this was how we learned how to speak. There is no cadence, there is no tone modulation, there is no. That mathematics teacher already destroyed what the English teacher came to build. So things are not in sync regarding communication in that school, for example. So is the environment supporting them to achieve what you want to achieve? Because sometimes you're pouring water. The action of pouring water is laudable, is praiseworthy, but you pouring that water inside a basket with holes, do you think you're going to fill the basket? Not at all. So it's not because you're not making the effort, but because something else has been put in place to ensure that your efforts do not amount to success. I feel like I'm the only person in class. Are we still together? Can you hear me? Is my network okay? Are you getting it? So you need to ensure that the goals you've set, you also putting things in place to achieve those goals. It's not just enough to say, I want to help my kids do this, to achieve this, to get here, to become this. You also need to ask yourself, how achievable is this goal? You see a lot of families who come from medicine fields, law fields, and their fathers, their mothers, lawyers as well, medical doctors. You've come across such families before, right? Let me know in the comment section. I even know a family, the father, 3 of the kids, lawyers. Are we together? Why is that in place? Because they know what to do in order to make that achievable. From childhood, from infancy, the children are already studying law without going to the university. They're already drinking literature. They're already eating government. They know the judiciary, the legislative, the executive, the constitution. They read their father's newspapers. They already internalized with those things. They know how it works. They can piece everything together. But for another mom who is a market woman, for example, yes, she can also achieve that, but she needs extra knowledge. She needs extra know. It's not just by child. Read this boy. I want you to become a lawyer. You are here. You are not reading your. No. That's not it. In those houses where they birth lawyers, when they are playing with law. Even when the child is playing, the child is drinking medicine. So that is it. That's how things are achieved. You need to ask yourself, do I have what it takes to help the kid? Do I need an extra help? Do I need to bring people in? So all those things will help you achieve what you want to. You need to ask yourself, is it achievable? For example, let's say as a business owner, let's bring it to life. I told you that this SMART formula can also help you achieve the things you want to achieve as a person, no matter what. As a business owner, every month you make 1 million naira. And you now say, 2026 is my year of commanding big money. I'm going to make 10 million naira times 10 without putting anything in place. You're not hiring a new influencer. You're not doing anything different, and you want different results. Azal, like you always say, azal now, not feasible, not possible, not achievable. So you want your kid, for example, to deliver impressive presentations. For now, your kid is not really a good presenter, but you yourself, you're not a good presenter. If someone presents now, you cannot pinpoint the exact things that person is doing wrong. How would you help your kid? You'll always keep wishing. So you need to ask yourself, do I need to get trained? And then I train my kids in return. Do I need to ask someone to train all of us at once? You need to ask the right questions. So let's take one of the issues in the chat box so we can use that as we can now use achievable as one of the yardsticks towards solving the problem. I don't have any other problem here. Okay, my child mixes up the present and past tense in her sentence. So the question is, why? For example, some kids say, I have not go. They have not went. She have come. Is it from childhood? What do you do differently? What are present tenses, past tenses regarding what? Is it regarding the rules of Concord? How do I teach the kids? Do I know the topic? Do I know the correct version? So those are the questions you need to ask in order to ensure that you fight and battle that problem on behalf of your kid. Past tense, present tense, the regular ones, the irregular ones. What foundation do I need to build for the kid to make this achievable? How do I piece them together? What do we start from? Is it the present or the past? What context do we use to practice? How often should we practice? Your child is 7, 6, and you already corrected him for something now. You're expecting the child not to make the mistake that next minute, not feasible. Still a child, you need to keep practicing. No, what did I tell you the other time? No, not beating yet. You do not need to involve beating. You keep correcting. No, it happened in the past. Is it present or past? Present, no, it's past. If it happens in the past, you use the past tense. If you have, so present form is come, past tense is came, the present is go, the past is went. Okay, now tell me that you create context in order to, yesterday, what happened? Now tell me in the correct form. You create context in order to make it achievable. Okay, all right, let's move to the next. Remember, SMART, S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, which we just studied, and the next is realistic, based on the time. How realistic is it? I want my child to achieve, some of the things we're mentioning now, short term, your kids can start grabbing something, but there's some that are long term. For example, general public speaking, your kid is bad. The voice, when we talk about speaking and presentation delivery, we are discussing 3 things. We're talking about the content. What is the child saying? We're talking about the voicing. How is the child saying it? And we're talking about the nonverbal cues. What body language is the child exuding in order to say those things? Some kids have problems with all the 3 public speaking criteria. All of them, the 3. For that kind of a child, you do not expect to start today and before 2026. No, it requires time. It also requires practice. So you have to be very, very realistic with yourself. A parent, for example, recently, a parent went to recommend Flying Colors Online Kiddie School to another parent. And after they made the payment, she sent a voice note to me and, tutor, please, I already told them that you're a very good teacher, that I have seen your content online. Please don't disappoint me. That child is 14 years old and the child cannot read yet. Like ABCD cannot even read yet. He has this very severe learning. Those are not the things we do at Flying Colors Online Kiddie School. I had to tell her. But then while telling her those things, I also thought to myself, these people are not realistic. How do you expect that kind of problem, that huge problem, severe learning difficulties, a special need to be solved in a group online school? No, it's grouped. So even before you're being scammed, most people just want to be scammed. So I told, oh, she will process the refund, and she told me, no, no, don't worry. He has a younger brother. We're going to enroll the younger brother at online kiddie school and solve his problem. So it's not realistic for that problem to be solved with us. You have to be very, very realistic. Some people say, no, you can pray for the child. You can go to the mosque. You can go to the church and say, Holy Spirit. Faith without works is dead, like they say. You have to work, and then you get the results. So Jesus, for example, he preached. Despite the fact that he's the prophet of God, he still preached to the people to accept. Prophet Muhammad, the same thing. So now the prophets they already gave us the template, the classical examples of you have to work for what you want. You cannot just be a medical doctor tomorrow morning without doing anything. You've got to do a lot of that. Yeah. You cannot pray your way into certain things. You do the work and you get the result. So you have to be very, very realistic. Okay? Yes, miracles happen, but they said them happen, and that's why God is God. Okay. All right, let's move on. Time bound. The last point, time bound. Remember SMART. S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and T for time bound. You need to state a specific time, specifically for what you want to achieve for your kids. Oh, public speaking. This is the time from this, your timelines between for week one, he should be able to master how to attract people's attention from the first sentence. Should he ask questions? Should you not having kids that will say, hello, good morning, Shama, Shia lady, accurate, thank you, code debaters, farming and doctor. So before I start, I want to define the core terms. The farming, that's archaic, traditional, old-fashioned. You want kids that speak so well that grab attention. So you can say week one, how to grab attention from the first sentence, from the beginning. That may be the focus for week one. Before the end of this week one, we should have achieved this. That's time bound, clearly defined. Okay, week two, you move to the middle. Week three, you move to how to end well. So week 1 to 3, you've mastered content, how the kids can come up with content to impress people and speak on the spot, that when you ask the child to speak about any topic, anywhere, they know the template to follow exactly. They have the blueprint. Okay, now let's move to voicing. What's wrong with your voice? Do you say, hello, everyone, welcome to this? Do you talk too loud? Is it too low? What's your speed like? You can examine that for another 2 weeks, but clearly defined. You have a sense of direction. Now you're not just hoping or wishing for things to just turn right all of a sudden. You have something that you're following and you're measuring the result. You have this time that you're targeting, and that's how people get amazing results. So let me give you, aside from the formula, I'll also give you a bonus. It's almost an hour. WH questions. That problem you want to solve for your kids, ask that problem, WH questions. The WH questions, who, what, where, when, why, how. Who needs to improve their communication skills? What do they want to accomplish? Where do they need to be to achieve this goal? Where do they solve this problem? I watched the interview of a woman. I do not know if you know her, Zahra Licious. Zahra Licious's mother. She's online. She has an Instagram page. She lives in the Dubai, but she's a Nigerian, very, very articulate girl. So I watched an interview of her mom talking about how she was able to achieve that goal for her daughter. So she mentioned in that interview, oh, I don't know how to speak well, how to do all these things. So when I realized that my child has the talent, when I identified the talent in my kid, I asked myself, where are the people who train kids like mine to nurture their talent, to build their personal brands? I got the school and I enrolled my daughter in that institute in Dubai. So you need to ask yourself, where do my kids need to be? Where are these things achieved? You ask where, you ask when. When do I want them to get the goals achieved? When is enough? So you do not need to restrict yourself to the questions I am asking here or the question that I have on my slide. You yourself, it's WH questions help you with critical thinking, to ask your problems a lot of questions that when you get all the answers, you have answers to almost everything. I want to plan this class. Who is my target audience? What do I want to help them achieve before the end of the class? Where should we host it? Should it be on Zoom? Should it be on TikTok? Should it be on Facebook? Before I get answers to all my WH questions, everything is already solved. So WH questions is another formula I'm giving you aside from the SMART. So what have you learned tonight? That's the end of the class. I do not want it to exceed 1 hour. What have you learned tonight? And do you have questions? Do ask your questions. Have you learned anything? Do you enjoy the class? If you do not enjoy the class, I'll just leave. If you enjoy, I'll give you the AWUF bonuses as the added advantage for those who joined me till the end. Afusat Suleiman, what can I do within a year to make my child write and study without stress? Without stress in what way? Kindly let me know. You haven't learned anything. I can't see anything in the chat box. Have you learned something? Ooh, can you still hear me? I can't see anything in the chat box. If you haven't
we can
learned,
hear you.
Okay. Thank you. You aren't typing in the chat box, but you can hear me. Ooh. Type in the chat box. What have you learned? Have you learned something? Is this worth it? We spent an hour already, and that's the end of the class. We've talked about smarts, and we've also discussed the WH questions. Okay, all right. So welcome to Flying Colors Online Kiddie School. Before we say goodbye, thank you very much for joining me and for listening to my talk. I want to introduce you to our school, Flying Colors Online Kiddie School, where we help children between 4 and 17 years old improve their communication skills and enhance their communicative competence. The school has enrolled more than 3,000 kids from more than 23 countries, and the school is fully online. Your kids can join us from any part of the world. It's fully online, and the timetable is flexible. The school does not disturb their everyday conventional school. So Saturdays and Sundays, 5 to 6 p.m. West African time, they join us. And from Mondays to Fridays, they submit their tasks to the WhatsApp group. So the timetable is quite flexible, 2 tasks per week and 2 live sessions, Saturdays and Sundays. The school is 150,000 Naira per year. It's a full year program, 12 months. So when you pay 150,000 Naira till the end of that's it. Thank you. Then we're currently running our AWUF annual promo, which ends tomorrow. Tomorrow is December 28, 2025. So instead of you to pay 150,000 Naira, we give you the opportunity of paying 100,000 Naira. So this AWUF annual promo is a once in a year promo. That is, we have it only once a year. Once this finishes, for example, you need to wait till December 2026 to benefit. So if you do not want to miss the opportunity, just go to our website, oks.ng, here, oks.ng. that's where you get all the details you need regarding the school. You can also come to my WhatsApp if you have further questions. But when you get to oks.ng, everything you want to know about the school is already written there. And the promo deadline is tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline. I would like to see your kids there. I want to work with them. Those who joined us in 2024, December 2024, they are renewing their subscription now. They're renewing the subscription because they gained value, immense value for their money. I want you also to be part of us, to eat, to drink with Flying Colors Online Kiddie School. And one of the most interesting things regarding Flying Colors Online Kiddie School is the parents are also learning. Some parents even tell me, but when is the time for our storybook? Because we have this fluent reading club where we write books for them regarding the theme. I said, your storybooks are the kiddies. I read the books before then. So the parents are also learning a lot of things, how to write well, speak impressively, deliver powerful presentations, public speaking, global exposure, financial literacy. So it's not just about how to speak good English. No, we enter different themes: neurodiversity, financial literacy, health education, geography, all those important things, how to talk about distance, road traffic signals. They learn all those things at Flying Colors. So it increases the global exposure, active listening, art and crafts, purposeful drawing, literacy upgrade, life skills, confidence building, vocabulary development. A lot. So while they're learning all those things, we ensure that they're communicating them well. So it's not just about the communication, it's also about teaching them globally relevant themes. So in case you'd like to join us, do so. Tomorrow is the deadline, 11:59 p.m. Do join us. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask your question. Thank you. Can the payment? No, it can't be spread. It's already 100,000 naira. So when you spread it, most of the things we use for the school, everything is prepaid. So for the Zoom, for example, we pay for 1 year. We pay ahead for 1 year. So in the fact where we're collecting the money, 10,000 over 5,000, the accounting is going to be difficult to do. So we take it at once. So you can always, it's not important that you compulsorily pay for the AWUFA annual promo. You can wait till you can save. For example, one of our moms saved OP. She showed me her OP today. She saved till she got the complete money and paid. So no pressure. You do not have to do it anywhere or find money. No pressure. Because aside from paying for the school fees, you still need to buy data. And some tasks also require that you buy. So we like to attract people who find it convenient to pay that amount. Thank you. So you can join us anytime. No pressure, no fast lessons. Like, all right, thank you. I'm glad that you've learned something, Madam Hafsat. I learned how to be specific. Good, awesome. All right, so thank you very much. So once again, that's the end of the class. You can introduce your people, tell your people about it so they do not miss out on the promo. Invite them, let them join us, and help me tell them to read the details. OKS.ng, that's the website. We've already written all the details they need to have regarding the school so that they are paying for what they actually understand. Thank you very, very much. I do not have questions anymore. Please spread the word. Effective communication is quite important, quite crucial in the lives of your children. And that informed the reason we have Flying Colors Online Kiddie School. It's still 150,000 naira, less than 50,000 naira per month, 100,000 naira less than 10,000 naira per month for a school where we teach them every day. Saturday, live session. Sunday, live session. Monday, they submit. Tuesday, we give them feedback, like personalized feedback. Each of the kids, oh, you did not write this well. These are the reasons you didn't write it well. These are the things you need to study in order to write it well. Continuously for a whole year. It's not possible for your kids not to be transformed when they come to Flying Colors. Wednesday, another task. Friday, Thursday, feedback Friday communication, where you give us your feedback, your complaints. Nothing is 100% perfect. So Fridays are the days where we ask you to give us your feedback. What do you think about the classes? Do you think we need to change some things? We open to feedback and your complaints, we solve them. Saturday live sessions, no, it's already a steal for the pricing 150,000 naira. The AWOOF annual promo is now asking you to take 50,000 naira off. And the most interesting thing about Flying Colors Online Kiddie School is the more the kids you enroll, the less you pay per child. For 2 kids, for example, AWOOF annual promo, you aren't paying 200,000, you're paying 196. For 3 kids, you aren't paying 300,000, you're paying 288. And the list goes on. The more the kids, the less you pay per child. So it's a wonderful school that we made affordable in order for every kid to be there. It's not a school any kid should miss out on. And the existing parents can testify. Where can I get the payment details so I can benefit from the AWOOF promo? All right, you can get the details. You can pay right away. That's the FCMB. Let me type the account details on the screen. For those who may be watching later, FCMB, and they want to pay right on the screen. So just send me a WhatsApp message after the payment is made. I'll type the account details right away so you can take the screenshot, make your payment, and join us. We cannot wait to have your kids. Tomorrow is the deadline of our AWOOF annual promo. 714365 3017. Flying Colors Communications Academy, FCMB. That's it. So you can take this screenshot, make your payment, and once done, just come to WhatsApp and tell me you've paid. With your receipt, I'll get your kids. We send you the links to the onboarding form. You fill in the forms and what? 443143, yeah, that's the WhatsApp. You send the receipts to this WhatsApp number. Thank you. We cannot wait to have your kids to join us. Who has any question for me? Thank you so much for being here. If you have any question, please, you can always reach out to me. Our WhatsApp is there. We now have a WhatsApp channel too. It was a Telegram channel before, but now we have a combination of both. So you can join the WhatsApp, also the Telegram, so as not to miss out on our update. Because in 2026, our classes are going to be regular every single week. We're going to be having sessions like this free. So you can invite your friends, your colleagues, let them join us. And so even if they're not paying, they gain something. It's just my passion to give from my wealth of knowledge and experience. Thank you very much for joining me. I deeply appreciate your success at your fingertips. Bye for now. Thank you.